All right, welcome back to the explainer. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You decide it's finally time to get in shape. You clean up your diet, you start hitting the gym, you put in some serious sweaty hard work for a couple of weeks, and then literally nothing. You step on the scale and it barely budges. You look in the mirror and you look exactly the same. It is incredibly frustrating, isn't it? You feel like you're doing everything completely right, but your body just totally refuses to cooperate. Okay, let's dive right into this, because the reality is your body probably is changing, but your expectations of how fast it should happen, well, they're likely completely misaligned with actual human biology. We've all been conditioned by those internet scams to expect a total physical transformation in, 14 days? But scientifically, that's just not how our bodies work. Today, we're going to look at the hard data to reset those expectations and then give you the actual tools to succeed. Here is exactly what we're going to cover today. First, your fat loss timeline. Second, the water weight illusion. Third, when belly fat melts. And finally, some incredibly powerful science-backed fat loss accelerators. Let's kick things off with Section 1, your fat loss timeline. We need a major reality check right up front. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how long the road ahead actually is. If you're starting at over 35% body fat, you are looking at roughly 52 weeks. That is an entire trip around the sun of consistent effort to reach a lean, healthy 10 to 15% body fat. Even starting at a relatively average 25%, it safely takes around 4.5 to 6 full months. Building a lean physique takes months, not days. Knowing this right now prevents you from panicking when you don't magically have a six-pack on day 14. Moving right along to Section 2, the water weight illusion. This is where we look at what actually goes down inside your body. So here is the chronological step-by-step of your body's transition. Days 1 through 7, you see this massive drop in weight. But as we move into weeks 1 and 2, your body actually starts shifting its fuel source to burn fat, and you might feel a noticeable dip in physical energy. By weeks 3 and 4, your upper body starts leaning out, and it isn't until months 1 or 2 that the lower belly fat finally starts getting tapped for energy. Now, the most dangerous trap is right here at the very beginning. The first 2 to 3 kilograms you lose in week 1, it is almost entirely water and glycogen, which is essentially just stored carbohydrate. When you cut back on calories and carbs, your body flushes out these stored sugars, and the heavy water attached to them just goes right along with it. The scale drops, you celebrate like you've unlocked some biological cheat code, but then week 2 hits. The water weight is gone, the scale stops moving so fast, and people panic. Please do not quit here. When the scale slows down after week 1, that is exactly the moment your body is actually starting to burn pure fat. Which brings us to Section 3, when belly fat melts. Ah, yes, the absolute most frustrating part of weight loss for nearly everyone on the planet. You might notice around week 3 or 4 that your face looks noticeably thinner, your shoulders have more definition, your chest and arms look great, but you look down and your lower belly and hips look absolutely untouched. This is exactly what makes people feel like their diet isn't working. The upper body simply responds faster. The lower belly takes 1 to 2 entire months of rock-solid consistency to visibly shrink, because biologically, it is literally the last in line. Now, what's really interesting about this is the scientific why behind the struggle. Your lower belly isn't just slow to annoy you. Actually, scratch that, it kind of feels like it, but it's really packed with a specific type of tissue called white fat cells. These cells are biologically designed to be incredibly resistant to fat breakdown. Your body views this specific fat as its ultimate emergency reserve, so it fights tooth and nail to hold onto it until all the other, more accessible fat stores in your arms, face, and chest are totally depleted. Validating your struggle here is the first step. Knowing it's just biology makes it a whole lot easier to stay patient. All right, on to Section 4, science-backed fat loss accelerators. We've established that patience is non-negotiable, so let's shift gears and look at 5 scientific tools to optimize this process. Accelerator number 1. Target losing just 0.5% to 1% of your total body weight per week. I know, when you want results yesterday, this sounds painfully slow, but mathematically, this is the absolute sweet spot to ensure you're losing pure fat while completely protecting and retaining all your hard-earned muscle. So the crucial point is that faster is almost never better. If you try to lose 2% or 3% of your body weight a week by starving yourself, your body straight up panics. It breaks down your muscle for fuel, it slows your metabolism to an absolute crawl, and it throws your hunger hormones completely out of whack. And check out this terrifying statistic. Over 80% of people who crash diet rebound entirely within 2 to 5 years, often ending up heavier than when they started. Slow and steady is how you protect your metabolism. Accelerator number 2, aim for 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. While you can certainly lose weight on slightly less, pushing your protein intake up to this level, it is a massive cheat code for fat loss. We normally just associate protein with building big muscles, right? But its role in fat loss is arguably even more powerful. Digesting protein actually requires a ton of energy from your body. This is called diet-induced thermogenesis, or DIT. Basically, you burn way more calories just by digesting protein compared to carbs or fats. On top of that, protein strongly suppresses your appetite hormones, keeping you full and stopping you from binge eating late at night. Moving right along to our third accelerator, exercise combination. We all know mixing strength training and cardio is great for burning fat, but there is a massive science-backed trap here called the interference effect. If you do this wrong, cardiovascular exercise will literally signal your body to cancel out the muscle growth and strength adaptations you are trying so hard to trigger with your weightlifting. Let's see how this builds. Fortunately, there is an incredibly simple fix. Step 1, strength training. Step 2, cardio. Always in that order. Research clearly shows that simply doing your heavy lifting first and your cardio after almost completely neutralizes the interference effect. You get to keep your strength gains, protect your metabolism, and still burn maximum fat from the cardio. Win-win. Accelerator number 4 is one that honestly gets ignored the most. You need a strict minimum of 6 to 7 hours of sleep every single night. You can have the perfect diet and the perfect workout routine, but if you're chronically undersleeping, your body will absolutely refuse to let go of fat. Here is the brutal biological reality of missing sleep. Sleep deprivation causes a massive spike in cortisol, which is your body's primary stress hormone. High cortisol basically acts like a giant magnet, taking calories and directly storing them as visceral fat deep inside your belly. At the exact same time, it derails your appetite hormones, making you crave sugar and junk food. Poor sleep literally forces your body to store fat in the exact place you are trying the hardest to lose it. No way around it, you have to get your rest. And that brings us to our final accelerator. It's a mindset shift. Forget the 3-minute detox teas, forget the extreme 10-day shred programs. The scammers want you to think it's easy so you'll just hand over your money, but they just leave you burnt out and rebounded. True, lasting physical change comes from embracing the science, ignoring the hype, and showing up day after day. Steady, scientifically backed habits always win out in the end. So I want to leave you with this final thought. You now know the biological reality. You know it takes months, you know the lower belly goes last, and you have the 5 accelerators to optimize the journey safely. The science is entirely on your side. So what are you waiting for? Are you ready to stop rushing the timeline, drop those extreme quick fixes, and finally start building a healthy, strong body that actually lasts a lifetime?